Hey folks, Dr. Gerstmar from Aspire Natural Health. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever you happen to be listening to this. I hope you're having a fantastic day. All right, a quick one from me today. I picked up a new book the other day. It is called Tiny Habits by B.J. Fogg. Just had a chance to get started with it. So far, it looks like a fantastic book. It's all about behavior change and how to make behavior change in your life. But one of the things I like to do when I pick up a non-fiction book, obviously a fiction book, you want to read from beginning to end, because if you don't, you're going to spoil the story for yourself. The wonderful thing about non-fiction books, they don't work that way. So one of the things I like to do with a non-fiction book before I really dig into it is just go ahead and crack it open to some random section and take a little read, see if anything really stands out to me. And so I did that with this book, again, Tiny Habits, B.J. Fogg. Just happened to crack it open, read a few sentences, and one thing really stuck out for me, it really struck me, really stuck out for me, was this concept of making ourselves better or being kinder to ourselves, making ourselves kinder or being better to ourselves, making ourselves kinder or being better to ourselves. Now, I don't know if you're anything like me, but as more of a type A person, we can often get really focused on improving ourselves. I've talked about this before, and I definitely believe it is one of the important facets to living a fulfilling life is learning and growing. So I definitely believe there is a place to making ourselves better, learning new things, trying new things, growing, expanding our capacity. I really don't believe we can live a fulfilled life if we don't learn and grow. After all, many of us can think of examples of someone who just lived a life in a rut, right? They just did the same exact job over and over for 40 years. They never really learned anything after they got out of school. And, it's not a life of fulfillment. So I definitely believe we need to learn and grow in order to have a fulfilling life. However, this had me thinking about the flip side of that. So the dark side of being growth minded, wanting to learn and develop, is often a dissatisfaction with the way things are. We're looking into the future. We're thinking about what it's going to be like when we've learned or we've changed or we've grown. We can often be dissatisfied with the future. And again, as kind of a type A person, we often can be very critical of ourselves. We're not good enough yet. We need to learn more. We need to grow more. We need to become better. Look at how ignorant we are now, or how little we can do something, or how bad we are at something. We're always looking for the future. So this idea of learning and growing versus being kind to ourselves really struck me. After all, when we think about that internal voice that each of us has inside, there's one of three possibilities for it. The first is that we could be negative. We're down on ourselves. We're hard. We're critical. Nothing is ever good enough. And that's a really negative place that a lot of us find ourselves in. We're constantly beating ourselves up, thinking about how we could have done something better, or we didn't measure up to our own high standards. The second tone for that voice can be neutral. We're not beating ourselves up, but we're not also praising ourselves or building ourselves up. The third is that we can be positive towards ourselves. The same way we would talk to a loved one, we can encourage ourselves for the things that we did right, for the steps that we've taken, for the accomplishments that we've made. And this had me thinking, me personally, I've gone a long way towards quieting that critical voice. We all have it at moments, but much less than I used to years ago. But I've often found my voice now is neutral. I don't often beat myself up, but I don't often praise myself either. And this had me thinking about that. One of the tenets of his book is celebration. We want to celebrate our victories. We want to build ourselves up. So just something to think about today. Are you growth minded? Are you looking to grow and learn, to try new things? If you're not, I urge you, I want to push you, I urge you, I invite you, become a little bit more growth minded. What's something new, different, or interesting you can do? Someone that I'm working with, that I recently talked with, they got a keyboard, a musical keyboard for Christmas. and they're looking to relearn how to play the piano. And I gave them 2 gigantic thumbs up. Fantastic for learning, growing, doing something different. So if you're not, I encourage you. But the second thing, and maybe the more important thing is about that internal voice. Are you kind to yourself? Do you build yourself up? Do you celebrate the victories, the things you do right, and the efforts that you make? You know, again, we can often get down on ourselves, but we can start a vicious downward cycle where we're beating ourselves up, or we may even be afraid to take action in the first place because we know we're not going to do it right. So just something to think about today. We want to improve ourselves on the one hand. We also want to devote some time and some energy to building ourselves up. After all, most of us are pretty amazing people. I like to think I am, and I'd like to think if you're listening to this, that you're a pretty amazing person too. All right, that is it for me today, folks. An interesting thought. Hope you take that away and mull on it a little bit. Think about where in your life can you grow and you learn, and what about that internal voice? Are you being kind to yourself? Are you celebrating your wins? Are you building yourself up? All right, folks, that is it for me today. Listen, if you'd like to join a community of other like-minded people who want to support each other on the health journeys that each of us is going through, I'd like to invite you to join us on Facebook at the Aspire Natural Health Academy. That's the ANH Academy, Aspire Natural Health Academy. All you need to do is go to Facebook, type in ANH Academy. You'll find us there. It is a private and exclusive group, but I'd like to extend an invitation for you to join us. All you need to do is put in a request. There are 3 quick, simple, easy questions. Take you less than a minute to answer those questions. And we'd like to invite you to come and join us and be part of a group that is aimed at supporting each other as we move along our health journey. Love to see you there. All right, folks, that is it for me today. Until next time, take care.